Welcome to Afterwards. If you're new, welcome. I come in 3 flavors, real, raw, and ridiculous. I'm going to tell you up front, not every therapist is a healer, not every healer is a clinician, and not every clinician will minister to your soul. I pull from the Arcana of Astrology Oracle deck, and then we confirm through the Selfies Oracle deck. That's what you need to know up front. So also far we've got Uranus, then we've got Capricorn. Okay, so Uranus is affiliated with Aquarius, right? That's also affiliated with a collective energy, right? And then the next card after that, Capricorn, business dealings. Okay, so talking to someone who's business-minded, dealing with the collective of other business-minded individuals. It's just that the business-mindedness is very unique. I'm saying it's unique because often Aquarius is unique, right? But since we're dealing with the collective, we're talking about a group of individuals who are innovating a particular field, and they're bringing something forward that they have the potential to make a lot of good money off of, right? But the reality of it is the devil is in the details, right? So some of you will need to learn more about contractual agreements, right? What are you contracted to the general public, and then what are you contracted to just as the contract states for itself, right? Okay, last quarter moon. So you learned a lot of lessons the last semester, cycle, past few months. I'm not quite sure what it is, but you know, but there were some lessons, right? Some very visible, pow, here goes some information, pow, here goes some more information. So revisit whatever you recently learned that would be of assistance to you when it comes to selling to a larger audience. Not taking all of that because that's not how I roll. I know. Oh, 2 fell out. You're gonna make me take these cards. Okay. 11th house. I said it. I meant it. Aquarius is in the building. Okay, heavy. 4th house, emotions. Okay, emotions and Aquarius. We're talking about somebody who can't get a grip on their emotions, and or whoever you are, wherever you are, you have a unique and uncanny ability to bring forth something in others that they haven't quite felt. Like it's almost like you spark some type of emotional response. It's coming across as negative, right? Also, because the 4th house is affiliated with Cancer, the moon, which is the emotion piece where I'm getting that from, right? Let's talk lineage. Let's talk, you seem to be a voice for those who grew up in a house with, I'm hearing the word stifled, but I'm feeling this. Okay, so like heart chakra blockage. Somebody grew up not being able to express themselves, like, or, oh, okay, I get it. 11th house. Okay, so you grew up learning different ways to express yourself, right? And I don't know. I tell y'all before, if you've watched any of the previous videos, when I think, well, not when I think, when I get this 4th house, and I'm talking about emotions, this is emotional abuse at the hands of family, right? Something happening in the family that's made you this unique individual that you are. It's almost like you're the only one who expresses emotions, and that's been downplayed so often. Like, why are you the one who gets to tell me how you feel? And it's almost like because the family, because 11th house, Aquarius, Uranus, collective, right? The family had a collective, right? So it's almost like you broke culture, right? Like it was determined that you're going to be the way we are. We're going to hold our feelings. We're not going to, or when we are expressing them, we will express the version of them that are the most harsh, right? Like it's an energy that you can just feel, and it's like I don't know what that is more often than not, right? I don't know your life. I just know how to read these cards and this energy. So maybe you're coming through that. You're dealing with that, and also potentially you could have been raised by an Aquarius, right? Where you have the most difficulty with Aquariuses, right? But the irony is, if you're a Leo rising, so check into this, right? If you're a Leo rising, the opposite of that would be Aquarius. So an Aquarius would be jealous of you and your self-confidence, and oftentimes hold back compliments from you, right? Because you radiate beauty. You was that Leo rising, right? You're going to radiate beauty. You're going to radiate confidence, self-respect, right? That to the Aquarius, right? They're down here in the air energy, right? They're overthinking things. Why are you like that? Why are you so attention seeking, right? Something that's naturally bestowed upon you as a Leo rising immediately has an Aquarius going in their minds, creating different analyses of you and then projecting that onto you, right? Now, here's the fun part, because I might be on the money with something. I wouldn't be surprised if the Psyche card fell out in this, because that usually tells me. So with that, it's almost like having had dealt with that person prepared you for deal with motives, right? Or those individuals, right? So when you find that you're coming across Aquariuses, it's their unique approach to things. It has given you an opportunity to really understand, like, what they perceive to be pretty girl privilege and or pretty girl flex is honestly a natural charming quality. You're not gonna be able to do it, especially if you're hitting your karmic returns, or you're just stepping into your North Node. Even if you have a Leo North Node, right? This Aquarian like energy, right? The innovation is that you get to leverage that story, right? All that emotional dumping that they've done on you has actually been the thing you've transmuted. I don't even know where Leo came from. Oh yeah, because it's the opposite of the Aquarius. Sometimes that's just what it is. You have to read the opposite energy to understand the present energy, right? Like what is actually on display. So if I keep getting Aquarius, which is a collective, right? A society, a community, but I'm getting business dealings as well as like some emotional state, right? Anything that involves money creates emotional reactions, right? We're talking about something that you learned. So you really honestly just learned who you are, what you're supposed to be doing. But it's almost like these people around you already knew this, right? And because they weren't feeding you the right information, Cancer, emotion, something hidden, the moon, it's becoming quite clear to you now. And nobody is going to really be able to stop. This is natural progression. Okay, what fell out? Libra. Partnerships. And flew out. Okay. Libra, partnerships, social, Venus, right? So this is the thing that actually makes you more attractive to others. Okay, so you grew up with that weird understanding, like, well, everybody else loves me, but like the immediate people around me keep telling me I'm terrible, and it's creating incongruence in self, right? So when your self doesn't have the congruence that it means you're growing up in an environment where there's conditional love, right? The condition is, like I said, if you're Leo and then there's an Aquarius talking at you, right? They're typically going to be talking to you from that overactive mind that they have rooted in automatic negative thinking. And then they're going to project that onto you so that you can take on that type of persona as well. Only difference is, right, it's because they see, right? So if you want to know what's going on with your life sometimes, look at the South Node, right? Look at your South Node in your birth chart, right? To help you better understand your North Node, right? It'll make a lot more sense to you in the long run. So when you deal with people, consider their North nodes and their South nodes. Okay, so when we're talking about, like, if your North node is Leo or your rising is Leo, we're going to look at, like, what is that Aquarian energy, right? So this Aquarian type energy will convince you that the world will react to you in this way, because they're typically ones who are accepted in the community. Most Aquarius are community-minded people, right? You just have to be mindful of what type of community are they minded in, right? What type of community does that perspective actually work, right? Are they setting you up for success or the fail? Because in many occasions it seems like where people wanted to fuck your head up, that didn't necessarily occur, and they weren't even aware of it, right? Okay, so then we've got partnership. So I don't know if maybe you've came into partnership with someone, or you've come into partnership with a new group of people, and they see everything great about you, which also allows for you to move out of that South Node energy, right? Where you're kind of living in the feelings of everything. Cancer. So you had a Cancer South Node, or a Scorpio South Node, or even a Pisces South Node. A lot of It's a lot of psychic energy, right? When we talk about psychic energy, I mean, like, it's a lot of psychology for you to understand really early on in life, right? So you're very observant very early on. You are always trying to make sense out of things, not necessarily feel things. And that's the fun part sometimes about having south nodes and water placements, right? You actually are better prepared to understand emotional triggers, highs, lows, moods, and then you're able to transmute that energy to help individuals be able to recognize where it's not the mood that's controlling them, it's pain management, right? It's having to take the moment to really sit with, like, damn, I went through something, or damn, I didn't realize that, like, my own family could gaslight me, or damn, here I was thinking that there was something wrong with me when the whole time I can't even see who I am because I'm being crowded out. That Aquarius energy, right? You're being crowded out by the people around you. They don't want you to know that. That's weird in some instances, but that really does happen. But it happens for good reason when you get to the other side of it. Sometimes I know we want to know the answer right now, but the reality of it is it's learning to release to want to know the answers to things. Like, you probably find yourself more and more lately being like, I'm not that interested in who's feeling some type of way about me. Like, I'm feeling some type of way about me, and I need to just be good with that, right? And so learning how, like, not to have these up and downs, but really to just fully step into it with confidence that this is who I am as a person. This is what I'm going after. And this does not require, the collective's opinion in that way, because they're not making the same choices, right? And so it's really about creating that healthy balance, right? With this Libra, so there's justice in play. So I think for a long time, if you were a part of a codependent type of family, lots of enmeshment, like every time you pick up the phone, the conversation is about some other family member, and it's like, can we talk about this really dope idea that I have? And it's like, there's no buy-in to that idea. Then it's like, okay, that's not your collective, right? It's just not. So you continue to move on to find the community that does resonate with you. Because when you're born into a family, you're born into a group, right? And it has its particular set of customs and traditions, aka culture. And then you learn that culture doesn't really fit me. I need to define for self what my traditions are, what my beliefs are, right? Establishing values. So if you are establishing values for self, then you're definitely being able to look at something as it is and recognize, like, okay, what do I want to attach to this? Because you have the option to attach an emotional response if you choose to, but you have to learn that, right? Okay, Libra is ruled by Venus. What's the love there? I don't know. I told y'all, look at that. If this card comes out, I am saying something that is true for someone. It's over now, okay? That part is healed. Those familial issues are healed. It's healed. You're stepping into a place in a space where the light can be shunned for you, on you, about you. Congratulations. The moment we hit self-realization is quite powerful. It doesn't mean your ego death is complete, but it does mean that your self-awareness has peaked. I can't make this shit up if I wanted to. I told y'all that this card, I have a feeling this card is going to come up. That's how I've learned to read. When this card pops out, it's like, trust your intuition, whatever the message is, let it flow. So whoever you are, wherever you are, that cycle is complete. It's done. It's done. You can really honestly be so proud of yourself and recognize these people, they're wrestling with those things as well. Okay, this isn't something that only affects one person. Now, they may see you, being able to live their life out loud, but they always saw that, right? It's just you're not as sensitive to it anymore, right? We're talking about Cancer. There's a lot of sensitivity, but also it's about possession, right? Family is trying to possess how you show up. You've broke free. You're creating your own thing, right? You're creating your own thing. You're not in partnership with the family dynamics anymore, but maybe you didn't need to be, right? And that's really what it means for a lot of you to heal, right? You're not breaking generational curses, you're fucking healing. You're not carrying around a bunch of shit, you're healing. When I say generational curses, it's like, it's interesting to think that you would be taking on the burden of all of that, right? Especially when you're only given snippets of information. So what you would be doing is healing what you birth hereafter, right? So if you grew up poverty stricken X, Y, and Z, you've always known, like, I never liked being poor when I was little. Then you make choices in your adulthood that you learn to stick to, right? That's called being in alignment, right? You do the work to be like, I don't want to be poor, I'm allergic to being broke. And then you recognize when you're sitting down somewhere and you've already wasted 2 hours, you're like, I need to get my ass up, right? Because it's like, okay, my behavior has to match the things that I say that I want in this world, right? So you have your own child, you have a unique experience, and you go, no, we're not gonna be poor. We're not doing none of that. I remember my own childhood, right? So you become a better version of yourself, right? So you birth a child that you're like, okay, you can be a better version of me, but I must first become a better version of myself. Because some of you are growing up with your kids, and some of you are actually stepping into self-leadership, right? Because that self-discovery is there. In turn, your children will be able to look at you and they will be able to walk in your footsteps, right? Because you're modeling the behavior, right? So think about that too, right? I don't know if something came through about like physicality, right? Like, do your kids see you work out? Do your kids see you, prioritizing certain things, right? Because a lot of people, well, they don't teach, this just popped in, because Capricorn was here, right? Like, well, the schools don't teach the kids this. What are you teaching your kids? Are you teaching your children about different business things? Are you helping them understand that work ethic is a part of the business things, that financial literacy is a part of that? Is that something that you learned not too long ago and you're like, let me put that in play, right? Because if you're going to grow up with a kid, you can learn with the kid, okay? Because that would be different than what you grew up with, right? If you grew up having to figure every fucking thing out for yourself, no wonder you're tired. No wonder why every time you've been trying to make progress in the past 3 weeks to do things, it's been like, I have to rest. It's like, yes, because the healing shit requires you to stop moving sometimes, right? Sometimes in order to heal, you have to sit still. Sometimes in order to heal, you have to get real. You have to honor, like, my emotional reactions were accurate, but now I need to understand that, like, they're not appropriate for everything, okay? Maybe you grew up in just a very unbalanced type of household where, like, the emotions ran wild, and you tend to try to fit what you grew up in on different environments, and that doesn't work because the environment you were in, it was a lot of hidden manipulation of your emotions in play. But you're in a space and a place where that's not what's happening. You've learned enough in that childhood upbringing to be able to be aware, right? I'm talking to somebody, when somebody is lying to you, you can feel it. It's almost like, So you might be a natural lie detector now, right? That's spirit working with you, right? Helping you discern, because you had to go through so much, and now that is over. Thank God that's over for you. I think that's it. Okay. Selfies. Let's do a selfies pool. Okay. Examine your inner circle. Does your friend group reflect? Didn't I just say? Thank you. So now it's time to invite people in who are like-minded, who are goal-oriented and ambitious, who represent the type of family you deserve, right? Family can be created, people, literally, but figuratively, right? Create the type of family you want. Establish the type of traditions that you believe are the most important moving forward, right? You learned enough of what you don't like, right? That's the shit I don't like. So if you cut it off, you you get to determine what's next. I love that for you. So I mentioned lying, so if you know you got some people in the group that lie, you need to really examine what are they lying about, or what's actually going on, because not all lies are against you, right? Sometimes people are trying to protect something. Even you yourself may have heard, I don't know your life, I just know how to read these cards. Growing up, don't tell the family business, right? But if the family business always involved you getting slapped up, you getting hit, somebody doing some mean-spirited, low-down shit like calling the police on your pops, but hiding the things that they say he stole out the house, it's like, what? Well, I'm just protecting you. You're a fucking criminal, right? Like, think these things through, right? I don't know everybody's life. I told you I grew up someplace in Chicago. I've seen things, right? But also I've counseled the criminally insane, right? I've heard interesting stories in my lifetime. I think everybody has a backstory, and that's what makes people interesting, right? To know that people are willing to share their lived experience with you, and or you have some people who just never tell you who they are, but you've seen it, right? Like, it's like, not interested in that Netflix original. All right, cool. Look, are you seeking to be authentic, bro? Are you seeking to be authentic or for approval? Look after your own heart. Don't tell the family secrets. Now, why would you have to tell me that? Unless you know you're doing something that could potentially have really severe consequences attached to it. So you're already making me a part of something that's not really good for me in the first fucking place. No, I won't keep your secrets. You can have that shit. All right, I'm getting a visitor. My nose is itching. Play again. Consult your inner child. So we had a whole conversation about the healing from your childhood and what really happened there, right? A lot of what you go through in your self node is your childhood. Get a copy of your birth chart, right? Learn about your self node. Learn about where you are right now, right? That's all that unconscious shit, right? When I say that unconscious shit, I can also refer to theories, right? That's your psychodynamic therapies. That's your humanistic existential therapies. That's your behaviorism therapies, your cognitive therapies. These are all things that give you insight to the lived experience, right? And then someone more skilled will come in and help you recognize and identify where you are and what you lived through, right? But there's some cosmic energy in play. If you look it up, when you look up humanistic approaches in counseling, psychotherapies, it's a philosophical approach that suggests that human beings are situated within a traditional individual ecology as well as a cosmic ecology, right? So all this does is account for the cosmic energy at play, which is why I'm saying look up your self node. You'd be surprised. Maybe you won't be, but some of you need answers. I don't know your life, but I do know that there's some things you've been thinking about that don't make a lot of sense as of late, and you're like, why do I do that? And or you're just starting to realize that like some people that you've cut off have been telling you about yourself within reason for the right reasons, right? But you had a unique environment, so a lot of your automatic thinking and your cognitive distortions came from individuals who intentionally placed them there, right? So when it was time for you to bear fruit, you didn't bear the right seed, but now it's okay because the harvest moon just left, right? Now you're starting to see all these wonderful, beautiful qualities and traits about self that other people see. People outside of your home, people outside of your immediate community, people who have no ill intentions for you, who want to see you thrive, right? Who want to see you go out there and live your best life, right? So now you're dabbling in something we call positive psychology, right? You are actually starting to have positive emotions about what is actually happening around you, right? And you're creating meaningful relationships, right? There's a lot of beautiful things occurring. But we've really had to work through what you think was depression when truthfully it was the development of personality. See, when you grow up stunted in your development, your personality does too, right? And once you start to take on bits and pieces and try them on, you start to become more comfortable with who you are, and then you start to understand where you're trying to go, and then you step into that fully, and that kind of guides you. That is not all ego, because all these other theories I mentioned all build on personality, right? So at the end of the day, what shows up is your personality. So congratulations, whoever you are, wherever you are. I'm coming again to say, are you a Leo rising or a Leo North node? Your confidence is about to be in full peak. And if you thought people weren't looking, weren't noticing, oh, let the love pour in, baby. Let the love pour in. Not to mention, your loyalty is everything. Um, that's amazing. Love that for you. Love this energy. Okay, I'm done. Not every therapist is a healer. Not every healer is a clinician. And not every clinician will minister to your soul. You can book your session at TactfulDisruption.co.